The best advice I ever received for my health anxiety, or when I was worried that I have some kind of incurable cancer, came from when I was getting CBT. And this advice comes in two parts. The first part is advice, and the second part is more of an action to take moving forward. So the first part, the advice part, comes from your anxiety is not your reality. So the reality of the situation is not the anxiety. They're very two separate things. And separating them in my mind made a big difference. So if I was worried, say, that I have a type of cancer, the reality of the situation might be that I have a kind of symptom. Maybe I've got a headache, maybe I've got bellyache, or maybe I've got a symptom going on. That's the reality. The anxiety of the situation is I'm worried that that symptom is a sign telling me that I've got some kind of incurable illness, or that I'm dying, or I've got something really serious going on, and I'll play out all the flashes in my mind of, almost like Inside Out 2, if you've seen it, of all of the worst case scenarios, and that is just completely overwhelming, and that brings negative feelings, fear, anxiety, panic, an array of horrific emotions. But the reality of the situation isn't that. And if you're experiencing health anxiety right now, separate it. What is the reality and what is the anxiety? The reality we can deal with. We can go to the doctors, we can get things checked, and we can be proactive without obsessing too much, which brings me on to part 2 a little bit. The anxiety of the situation isn't reality. It's all stuff that is played out in our heads, played out to create scenarios, to create negative feelings and impact our lives. That isn't the situation, and that isn't what's happening. And if you think back to times when maybe you've thought you've had something in the past and it's not been that, that's reality. That's the reality of it. The anxiety, because you're here watching this with me now, I'm assuming has never took place. It's never panned out like that. So that helped me massively. That was the advice part. The second part is more of an action to take. Now, the second part is tricky because it's doing something which feels almost impossible to do. So that's why I think the advice part is more important to come first, because just to separate those two things first, of anxiety and reality. The second part is more about shifting focus. And this was the game changer for me during CBT with my health anxiety. Shifting the focus to something else while I'm overwhelmed and in a spiral is nearly impossible. I know. But shifting the focus as much as you can, especially at night, away from the obsession, because I think there's a little bit of OCD in there with health anxiety as well, and there's a little bit of obsessing over something, and the anxiety almost causes the obsession because it's like we're seeking reassurance and we're seeking help that it isn't this, because our anxiety's played out a possibility and we want reassurance that it's not that. And that takes everything, all of our time then. Instead, if we go back to the reality of the first bit, the advice, we're going to go and see the doctor. That's all we need to do. That's it. We don't need to go on the internet. We don't need to be obsessing. We need to shift our focus somewhere else. And whatever that is for you, obsess over something else. And that made a big difference to me. And I've noticed at times when I've experienced health anxiety myself, the anxiety's gone sometimes, or the fear of this disease has gone sometimes when I forgot about it. And then I've gone, oh, it couldn't have been that, because suddenly that symptom's gone. And maybe that symptom has gone because you're not focused all of your energy on it. It's hard. I know. It's really hard to shift your focus. It feels incredibly overwhelming. How do you shift your focus when you've got these things in your mind? So I would say choose the easiest thing. Where do you feel like you can completely forget about everything? Where do you feel like you can really obsess over something else? What do you love to do? Do you love to go to the cinema, hiking? Would you prefer to be around people or be by yourself maybe? What is going to help? Is there a project you can do or something? And then just for a few days, because you're already doing the reality. There's nothing else to do. The reality is you just need to go to the doctors. Nothing has happened yet. Nothing has happened. Not even yet. Nothing has happened. You've just got a symptom and you just want to Do the proactive thing, as we're told, which can cause anxiety, to get it checked. And you're doing it. You're already doing that. Even if you're just going to see, the nurse at the walk-in centre, or maybe you're waiting for a referral, it's already done. Try and shift your focus during this time, and maybe, just maybe, that symptom won't feel as overwhelming because the focus will be gone from it. And maybe those flashes of anxiety, which aren't the reality, will start to fade. And I really hope they do, because they have for me when I've used this technique and used this advice. I hope this helped you if you're experiencing health anxiety. Please subscribe to my channel, Ease with John. I'm talking about anxiety, lots of other stuff on there, random lifestyle stuff as well. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and enjoy the rest of your day.